Interested in a game where you take a hero, customize how they look, put them in a big world, add mythological beasts, an evil antagonist, magical abilities, action RPG elements, and co-op multiplayer? Well, that's enough about Diablo. To be fair, that could describe a lot of big franchises these days, but you get the point.
When I heard the stories about this gauntlet bearer, I knew we would cross paths again.
So, Atlas Fallen is a mixture of familiar elements. It's got bits and pieces that you'll find familiar from many other games, but what separates those games from the rest is often, although not always, that they are really good at the specific things that they do, or they're prettier than other games, or maybe they let you build orbital dropships out of some old artifacts and a bit of magic glue. Aside from a few ideas, nothing in Atlas Fallen is particularly innovative, so it begs the question. Do all of these elements come together to create a game that is more or less than the sum of its parts? You guys are not going to believe this, but there's a magical
Gauntlet means the sands themselves become your weapon.
Oh yeah, I'm talking to a cop!
So yeah, at this point that scores 0 on the originality-o-meter. After meeting someone that looks like the guy from Avatar, who is actually a long-forgotten god and rival to the big bad of this game, you find yourself playing as an unnamed one, and the folks that come with names don't like your kind all that much.
One more dead unnamed.
But once things get going, you and the Avatar guy head out into the open world where you explore areas, talk to people, do missions, visit cities, and fight lots of monsters. Combat feels sort of like a mixture between the old school God of War games and a few other games you've played before. You grow your list of moves, you upgrade things, you get better armor, and ultimately become a running, jumping, hacking, slashing, magic-wielding force of, well, the blue guy. Your magical powers let you get around by double jumping, air dashing, and most notably, surfing on the sand, which is actually kinda cool and reminds me a bit of shield surfing in Zelda, but without the annoying broken shields. But I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to let the commoners know that I'm like totally radical without the game letting me do sweet flips and 1080 nose grabs. Missed opportunity.
Dude, you get the best barrels ever, dude.
Speaking of 1080, I was impressed by the totally better than 1080p resolution that Atlas Fallen still puts out in the 60fps performance mode. Considering the graphics and the size of the larger areas, even playing on a large 4K TV, it's smooth and sharp. Quality mode offers the sharpest image at 30fps, but after testing it myself, I can assure you that there's absolutely no reason to play this game in quality mode at half the frame rate. One of the most welcome additions is that you can play the whole game alongside an online co-op buddy. This is definitely one of the better features of Atlas Fallen, and it worked easily and flawlessly with not even the tiniest hiccup. Something I really loved as well is that in a world where developers seem to have forgotten how to deal with save systems in co-op games, I'm looking at you Redfall, State of Decay, and countless others, Atlas Fallen lets you do something really cool. It lets you choose if you want to save only your character progress or the character and the world progress. Stuff like this should be standard in 2023, and yet it isn't, so bravo for that. So how does it feel when it all comes together? Well, it's not bad actually, pretty good in places, but also has a few blemishes as well. My experience was okay until I got to a boss that made me want to put my head through a wall, especially in a world where games like Dark Souls and Elden Ring exist. There's nothing worse than a boss that feels easy to beat, save for a few cheap moves that can kill you in nearly an instant, made worse by some problematic camera and targeting issues and a just too long loading screen to put up with every time I died. It's a small blip in a larger experience, but enough to make you question the creator's abilities completely. The truth is that I already know that Atlas Fallen isn't going to be particularly memorable. Everything about the game is decent. The combat is decent, the graphics and sound are decent, the controls are decent, everything is fine. I did have a few hiccups and crashes, although I don't pay too much attention to it when planning games in a pre-release state, and there's already an update downloading on my console as I'm recording this.
No one will ever notice.
There's a famous saying, a jack of all trades is a master of none, but what a lot of people don't know is that it actually continues on to say, but oftentimes better than a master of one, which, if you don't realize, flips the meaning over to mean the complete opposite. Atlas Fallen is a jack of all trades and indeed a master of none, and while there's nothing particularly offensive about it, that's not exactly the highest praise either. It's not bad, but it's nothing special. I can't recommend that anyone picks it up for full price in a year that's offering so many better games, but it might not be a bad outing for you to pick up at a better price when there's a bit of a dry spell in future. Speaking of other games, releases are about to get nuts, and with games like Starfield, Spider-Man 2, Forza Motorsport, Alan Wake 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and a whole bunch more, you're going to want to subscribe to our channel if you want to catch all of our coverage. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button on your way out. Thanks for watching, we'll see you soon.